Hello everyone, Aaron again. Just finished pesting with my ATN and Impact here, and I said I'm going to try to keep you guys apprised of everything I learned about this scope because some people out there are making a decision to get or not get it, and some of that may be based on what I'm saying about it, so I want to make sure that I have full disclosure on everything. But before I get into that, let me just say this. In the last video I talked about, for those of you who may be getting this, I talked about putting a smaller diameter hole in it because it gives clarity to it over a more extended range, and you won't find yourself having to constantly zoom it and, focus it. I found a better way, okay? This is what I come up with. I just turn this around to you. If you look at this now, you really can't tell that where the barrel ends. And this is what I did. This right here is off of a paint can. Now they make 2 or 3 different size paint cans. I'm gonna hold this up. You see that little hole there in it. But they make 2 or 3 different size paint cans. So you want to find the one that fits. But this thing here fits perfectly over there. I mean, just perfectly, and it blends right in, and it does it all. Now what I did was, I had 3 or 4 of these. I cut a different diameter hole in all of them. I'm not going to tell you how to do yours because you got to do it the way you like. But some of the holes could be a little bit too big and some of them could be a little bit too small. But the light gathering ability of this scope is amazing. You can put a pinhole in this thing, and I think this thing can still see out and bring in enough light, especially if you put it on high, on the light setting, higher, it would work. So paint can top works perfectly. Okay, fits right on there. All of the video that I shot with this, I shot with this, I'm going to say filter, this paint top filter on here. And what it allows you to do is not have to focus so much. Went out after starlings mainly today, got a few other things, but went out to starlings, and with the starlings there, you don't get 10, 15, 20 seconds to shoot at those things. For some reason, they tend to know when you're trying to pest them. So if you don't have to focus, stop and focus this thing, it's a lot faster. So I had this thing focused, I think, at 25 yards, and with that, I was able to shoot up to 40 or more and back into under 15. Now, was it always absolutely clear? You're gonna say no, it wasn't, but I was not fumbling around with this. So those are the 2 things I want to report. Also, I always want to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of everything here. Let me tell you one thing that I do not like about this scope. And I understand why they did it, but I don't like it. Okay, you can shoot this in 20 frames per second. I think it's 30, 60, 120. I may be wrong on part of that, but I know 60 and 120. When you shoot this thing on 120, you do not get a crosshair. There's no crosshair. I did not know that. I put it on 120 because I wanted to post the best video. Got back home, started editing the video, and found there are no crosshairs. So I'm really, really sorry. These shots you're going to be seeing here, you won't be so you'll see the shot, but you won't see a crosshair. I think they may have done that on purpose, thinking that if you're shooting at 120, you probably want to be shooting more video with the thing than actual reticle crosshair. I don't know why they would come up with that, because it's a gun for shooting, so why would you be shooting movies with it? But for some reason, you put it on 120, you will not get, you'll still be able to see it as you shoot, but you won't get that information, any information at all, on the distance that you're shooting, the date, or any of that in the video. So that's one thing that I do not like about this particular thing. Everything else, so far, I love about it. Let me just say this. I was in there, this thing is rated for 18 hours of continual video without turning it off. And I had it out there for 5.5 hours. I turned it on at noon, I turned it off at 5:30. When I turned it off, I checked the battery. The battery was down 1/4. It still had 3/4 left of shooting. I mean, that's 5 hours continual. You're not going to find a video, anything out there right now that you could turn on and leave them on for 5 hours, just running by batteries, that's going to still be running at the end of the day. You know, you're going to be able to plug something else up or put a new battery in it or whatever. So one of the upsides of this thing is that it will perform for you for 18 hours of continual shooting. That's amazing to me. I didn't miss any shots because I had to turn this thing on and do all the rest of the stuff. It was on the whole time. All I do was hit record, stop, hit record, stop. Another thing I found too is that, and you're gonna see, you would see that if you could see the video. They have a crosshair in there that has, I guess you call them mil dots, but they're not really, just little dashes that can help you with longer distance if you don't want to take the time to say, okay, 60 yards and do all the clicking and everything, which I did not want to do. I did do it on a couple of birds that were out at 50 yards. I actually did zoom it in. You'll see that. And in other cases where I didn't think I had enough time, I shot from the thing. And I tell you, in my next video, I'll make sure that that's not the case, because I know it's really, really important for you guys to see the crosshairs and where they are and how I missed and that sort of thing. So the downside to this thing is, in 120 it will not record the crosshairs. The upside of it is you got 18 hours. And when you're not worried about that, you know, a couple times I hit record on this thing and shot and forgot to turn it off and looked in there 5 minutes later, it was still going. I just hit stop. You edit it when you get back home. But that's the upside of it, because right now if I was shooting with my with that side shot with my phone is only going to last me continual maybe an hour if I never turn it off. So I'm constantly turning it off and back on trying to save that battery. I hooked up an auxiliary battery to it, but I kept running into the wire and eventually snapped the wire. And so I didn't want to deal with that anymore. So for everything so far, for everything that this thing brings you, and I'm seeing that the price is really coming down. I saw the 5 to 20, which is supposed to sell for $800. I saw it on Amazon for $539. So they're selling the 20 for that. This thing here that I have, which is the 3 to 14, you probably can get around $400 now. And I know that's down there with all the top scopes, Sidewinder and the rest of them. So I can only say good things about this. My FX Impact shooting 177 H&N field target trophy, I think they are. 10.34 grain. This thing here loves them. Slings them out there very, very well. I think the longest shot I had today was about 50 yards on a Starling. But the gun performed well. I went through 4 magazines. And I did not even start. I started a little bit over 3,000, I say 3,200 pounds of pressure. And at the end of the day, I shot 4 magazines, 21 in each. So was that 84 shots? I shot 84 shots, and I was still well above the 150 PSI, 1,150 PSI. And I think this thing here was actually shooting at 110. So I had a long time before I got down there. So I'm thinking I'm getting probably 100 and something shots out of this, maybe even better. So that worked out well in the field too. So between the gun being able to one field shoot all day, this being able to shoot all day with no end in sight for pellet distribution or for filming is a wonderful thing to have out there. Okay, so now let me get into the pesting about that. This is only reports I have on it right now, but I have more reports for you in the future. Let's talk about this pesting thing. I'm going to start this video by showing you something that this particular farmer is dealing with. He's dealing with other issues too, but with these pests. And I know some people say we're shooting these poor little birds. So I just want to start this video by showing you what these poor little birds are doing to this farmer's equipment. Not to say that the diseases and all of the bird droppings and stuff that they put on the cow's food as they feeding on it, and then the cows end up ingesting that. So let's start out that way, and then we're going to go right into the shooting again. Let me apologize because you won't be seeing a crosshair in these. Let's see what we have here. For all you guys who cry about us pesting, this is what the farmer deals with. This is brand new equipment. I'll back up so you can see. This is brand new equipment, okay? And this is just an example of it. The manure piles and stuff that these birds leave on their equipment, and they have to power wash this stuff off, and it brings diseases and everything else to their farms and their livestock. So when you guys are crying about these birds, oh, you poor little birds, if you're killing those yard birds, this is what I want you to picture. On every piece of equipment that is at this farm, on the cow's back and everywhere, this is what he's dealing with. And this is why he asked us to come out and help him. So unless you want to come clean this up for him, leave us alone when we're pesting. Hey everyone, out here pesting again today at the cow farm, and quite a bit of wind. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's whistling. It's always whistling because this place happens to be on a hill, and because it's on the hilltop, it tends to pick up a lot of wind up here. Back up behind me in that little building here, that's the pigeon area. That's the pigeon area. They fly in and fly to that. That's the only place the pigeons are. It's really strange here. And the rest of this is our starling area. Starling and English sparrow. So we tend to see a lot of those here. But shooting outside here is tough because there's always a wind. I mean, right now it's blowing, that would be east, blowing east probably about 15 miles an hour. So we got to do some hold off for that. So what I'm using today is my trusty ATN scope. I hope it turned out to be. This is the first time I ever used it in of course my impact. And right now I have the in the impact here I have the 177 barrel in it. So let's go see what we can do here. Look at all the starlings this guy has problems with. This is nothing right here compared to all of them that are out there. This is a 30-yard shot. Should be dead on. Go with the fat one there. About 10 yards away. About 10 yards. This is an incline shot, and the coordinates is 20 degrees. Wind blowing to the left, right. This shot is about 30 yards away. Okay, this bird here is about 35 yards away, left to right wind. And got him. degrees up, 20 yards away. Okay, these two birds are about 35 yards away, 10 degrees up. This bird here is 20 yards away, 25 yards. What? This bird is really close. This is just to give you an example of what these birds are like out there. This is just a small flock right here. I'm going to take a shot on them. They're about 35, 40 yards away. This shot is 50 yards. With the wind blowing to the right. They keep moving on me. Can't take the shot. I hate that. Yards. I'm guessing 40 yards. Well, another day of hunting done. We shot at a lot of them, missed a lot of them, and this is what we were able to get to and find. All the rest of them couldn't get to them. So another good day anyway.